I can get see if I can get my data, actually get some players in the system. I mean, this is actual players. I've imported players statistics, and then I created some skills for those players. Now I need to get those players to actually become objects, data for the actual game to utilize, which means to pull them into a set with their skills defined. And then I can start using those players as the basis for the players that will assign to users. Users can then have teams. Teams will have pointers to actual players that I have imported. And then their imported pointers will be able to have all these, will have their experience and modifiers and everything that goes on for those players. And then that connects the actual players into actual data for their players within their leagues. So I've been defining and setting up how that's going to be set up, how the tables are going to. And then hopefully I can actually start, once I'm able to actually create players in the system, I then need to come up with I need to then define the exact route through which I'm going to assign players to teams and how I'm going to give them the initial set. I've been kind of going back and forth on what exactly the initial set is. Do I want to just give players and like so many other games do, or do I want to allow players to do something where they can kind of go build? I'm kind of thinking I give players a base set of players, or users a base set of players. Their first team will have X amount of players on the team. They're randomly generated. You get cards for those players, and they go into your collection. They are actually your cards that will be in your collection. However, it'll be enough to go into what I'll call the practice league. And I will give an option. It'll be kind of like the training league where you learn how to use the game, as well as an opportunity to build up so you have enough players to do a full league. I'm kind of wondering what I'd like to do is give players the opportunity to draft some players and slowly add players. So while they're going through this training, they're going to be adding players to their actual collection. They're going to be building up and trying to give their players some play time and give training to all these players and just kind of go through all the motions of what the game does while they're playing their season out, their little mini season, which will give them hopefully enough players to play in a full league. Now, the way I want to be able to do that is as you have players in your league, you get enough experience, they become level 1. At level 1, collection players are now yours. You have them in your collection. When they're level 0, they're not in your collection, but you can earn them by playing them. They get experience through being played. So if you want certain guys on your team, you got to try to get them in somehow. You can give them some experience through practice and through however you store them on your team, but they're going to go a lot slower. It's going to be much less experience. It's actual game time is going to get them. So certain guys might actually take longer too. Better players that are on your team take longer to get to that level 0. It's kind of like their rarity experience. Now you have 2 types of experience in this game for your players. There's the skill experience, which is a little different. And then there's the collection experience. Collection experience takes a little while to earn. It's not just based on the talent. In fact, sometimes the more rare, the better players may actually take longer to earn up enough experience to get them to level 1. And there will be different levels of collection level. Now you can actually get collection. Your cards can actually be enhanced. See, here's the deal. I have all these ideas for things I want to add and enhance and flavor your cards, like kind of like Marvel Snap does. or give them special borders and special things. But not all of it is collection. Some of it is actual performance. They do well in a league, they get some kind of a something. So it's going to be pretty generic at first, so that you have the opportunity to earn those kind of improvements. But again, that's something I have to learn how to do. And so some of that stuff will come in as the game matures. Initial stuff will be just kind of getting the cards and simple stuff. And and if the game's popular enough and it's making a little bit of money and people are saying, hey, I kind of like this, I'll just keep developing and get better. Maybe I'll even get some people to help me create some effects and things that go along with it, that will allow me to make those cards better and better and better over time in appearance for your collection cards, as well as for your performance cards, that kind of thing. But the logic of how you're going to level and do all these kind of things is all definitely planned. It's all part of the ultimate goal. But that said, I do. It's kind of weird how this logs out. Do need to finish this next step. I'm just getting in some tags. I have to do tags, Because these tags unfortunately don't affect, I don't know how to update the tags in Twitch. Or maybe I do, I don't know, but they don't work. I have to go into Twitch to just update tags, and I haven't been able to figure out how to make that work. So, give me, I'm just updating the YouTube ones right now. I'm at 168, guys, my subscribers. So if you're on YouTube, 169, 170, 200, all great goals. Help me move along. I need all the help I can get in that sense. If you want to back me to help me continue work on this long term, I wouldn't mind that either. But no, hey, don't feel inclined to do it. It's only if you want to see this game come to life and you would say, hey man, I want to help you out with that. So if you feel so inclined, please, check out my KoFi page and let me know. And you can also see I have a Patreon. I think I even have my Patreon set up, and I also have Stream Elements, and I might even have a PayPal on there. I don't know. I put a bunch of options just so that people have an option to do however they want to do that. Okay, so the objective right now, I I split out. What you've been noticing lately is I've been working on my player skills. But I started to notice that the player skills files were really starting to take over my player's service. So I broke out into a separate player skills service. What that's going to do is it's going to manage, update, import. It's going to run all of my player skills functionality, which allows me to keep it kind of closed. It doesn't have to always be running, but there are features and functionalities that I'll probably put in there that are just specific to player skills. Player skills I knew was going to be kind of a big deal, simply because it's an integrated part of the game. It's everything that you do to your players and help them perform is going to be part of the skill system. And so I wanted to be able to set up these players in a way. So I got to start laying out at some point, once I get these players actually put into the player screen, I have to actually go in then and start developing a page where, like you've seen, I have playbooks and game plans and even the simulation starter page where you can go in and define where you want to pick the sim type. I don't have any roster management. That's going to be my next thing. I got to create a roster management page where you actually get players and you can put players on your team and get players. I'm trying to guess how. Maybe I randomly give players. I want to be able to randomly give players maybe for every position. Probably not. It'd probably just be like a base set of kind of lower level players. And I also haven't calculated in the value of cards, salaries. Every player has a certain salary, and I think that's how my team generation works. You actually get a set number of players that fit within a salary that fill the required positions. So what I'm thinking is you're going to get 22 cards or 24 cards just to start. And that is your bare minimum to run a team, right? You have to have 11 defense, 11 offense, and probably a kicker and a punter. That's pretty much all you have to have. Everybody else can just play parts across the team to fill in for like special teams and that kind of thing. You'll probably have, maybe you get a coach, but I haven't fully figured all those details out. I'm in that stage now where all that stuff has to be hashed out. But yeah, I'll have to have a roster management page soon. So that'll be one of the things I want to start working on. Like I said, I want to have a beta that runs a playthrough. So what I probably am going to do is I'm going to do something where I generate, if I can come up with I think my goal here is create the players into the system now that I've got some skills set. Then I'm going to have to kind of lay out a card and set up a roster, which is going to probably just take a similar look as all the other ones. Will have roster management. And then every player will be, I guess for now, a card, yes. I'm going to have to figure out a good way to filter and sort so people can see what they have. And I got to figure out how that's going to be. Because you want to be able to compare players next to each other, right? You want to be able to see them in a list. I'm trying to figure out the most graphically. I'm working on some ideas on a graphically cool way to represent the players without getting. I'm trying to avoid the appearance of just endless lists of data, right? I mean, sometimes you kind of have to in some ways. I can understand, you need to filter players or look at players in a list, and sometimes that's the easiest way, maybe. But I don't want just pages of data. So it's got to look clean, and I'm working that out. I'm working that out. So like there's a lot of games that put players in. There's some that do them in cards, like I'm trying to do, and I feel like that's more gamey. It's more like, it looks cleaner. I mean, this looks more like a game when you have cards that have your data on them. But even those games often have a list of some kind where you can look through, all the players you have. And, I've seen some games that do kind of a good job over time, but almost all of them, they just give you a sheet of data, and it's probably because that's I don't know, is that the standard, the norm to have just a sheet of data? I don't know. Got to be something different, something out of the box. Got to think out of the box. Yeah, I don't know. I am definitely a little stumped on the best way to accomplish this. Um, That's right. It's not the thing I'm working on right now. First things first. I'll be right back. Okay, so first things first, let's get this data loading. So I created this little setup here, and I was just getting ready to test it. It's basically an opportunity to run my player skills and build some stuff. And I don't know how this is going to function. I really don't. It's going to be an interesting little test. So I'm going to do run create. I don't even know if I finished developing this. I may be jumping the gun on what I'm doing here. Put down the notes. I went through, started developing a bunch of other code, and then I had to move everything. And when I moved it all, I think I may have maybe skipped a couple steps, but we'll see how this goes. Config.go m.local unknown command creates system player. Available commands create. Really, it's case sensitive. Did I actually do that? I hate, I hate when I do that stuff. Yeah, I probably did that. Alrighty, well, did something. Did it work? I don't know. Let's see what we got here for my logging. Successfully loaded, starting create system players, checking for database connection. Loading control modifiers, loaded 3 control modifier types, loading team statistics loaded successfully, loading players, that's where it's supposed to be setting their skills, processing players and calculating skills, panic, runtime error, invalid memory address. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a breakdown here. So we got a go routine, we've got a bunch of flaw going on here. Let's see if AI can help me pin this one down. The does it even tell me where this is? Nope. So we'll clear this out because this is no longer relevant. I will do an ask because I don't like to do agent anymore if it's unless it's a brand new piece of code and I want it just to lay it out for me. Because after that, I kind of just have to know what I'm doing and see what's going on and interestingly enough, it's right after the In the meantime, while it tries to figure this out, I will also try to figure it out because AI is not as fast as you think. Right, so it's during the player skills, blown up somewhere right around here. We're getting a nil reference basically, and it doesn't like it. Stats loading might be failing silently. Player stats object, player stats creation might be failing. Nil control modifiers. Control modifiers. I love the way they says it might be doing this. Let's add some defensive checks for identifying the issue. Well, all right. I'm going to let it apply this because I think process players is right where I'm at right here. Process play. Oh, process players. Let's see what it did. We're adding in an error handler. Error control modifiers is nil. Team stats is nil. It's just adding in a bunch of logs. It doesn't look like it's making too many changes here. So I'm seeing mostly nothing, just nil check. So we'll go ahead and let it put those in. It usually lets me check them too, so I'll be able to compare. I don't like when my code gets to be over 400 or 500 lines in a file. It's just not good. I break it out, try to decide, how can I make this simpler? It's not always about reducing the lines though. It might be reducing them from that file, but just for managing the code, I don't like to have it all in one place like that. So usually I can break it out into topics. Like I was doing the skills, so I broke it out into defensive skills, offensive skills, and general skills. And there's also at the time when I first started, I was doing all the data fetching in the same file. And I was like, okay, well, let's pull that out. So all of the data setup and fetching that all of the skill builders functions are using. Um, I went, oh, these are just checks straight up. Okay. I pulled out into its own file as well, so it made that a little cleaner. So now I know that when we're not working with the actual data, I can just move to different. It does make it a little bit more work when I'm bouncing around into different parts, but like something about it. Oh wait, also let's add. Didn't actually add. Did it add all this? Also, let's add nil check to the service constructor and add defensive checks to me. Well, let's just see where we're at with this one. I mean, there's no point in adding all of them yet. See? We don't even have the error anymore. So why are we all right, so we got loaded, team statistics loaded, players loaded statistically for year 2009. Error, team stats is nil. Okay, so what else we got? Team stats is nil. Control team stats no. Okay. So that got passed in. Team stats is supposed to be coming from something. My eyes are burning, so I don't know why. They're just having a burny day. Team stats, where is that? There it is. Team stats. Get team stats. Okay, so we have get team stats. It's coming back nil. Go to the definition of get team stats. Is here. Probably a function down here somewhere. Really? This would need to be implemented based on the existing team stat structure. For now, return a placeholder that matches the existing pattern. I don't know if this is actually, I think it's actually returning. What I don't understand is if all we're doing is calling another function, it seems kind of weird that I'm just calling another function. Why don't I just call the other function? If nil, return nil, return. Oh my gosh. Am I doing a circle? Global team stats manager, get team stats. This is like, this AI. Seems like a lot of layers here. If we don't have cache team stats, okay, this is what I want. So let's see here. Check again in case another go routine updated while we were waiting. That's such a weird thing. If we don't have cache team stats or data is stale, create a new instance. Release read lock before acquiring write lock. Acquire write lock. Defer. So I'm thinking get raw team data. Thing is, this doesn't. I guess I have to keep going deeper, probably. The issue is so the stats that it's pulling should be coming from here, the team stats data, and you can see not nil. Got plenty of team stats data. So how it's pulling it is obviously the flaw here. And the data. Check the any case and go to update while we were waiting. Let's go see what this is doing, because I think this is what's actually defining this. And then we got init stat mapping, which goes here, and this is where we actually map everything. So I know there's actual data getting created, because I know that team stats works, because I have actually a lot of team stats that I've been using in skills. So it's using those skills, so they do exist. All right, let's go ahead and pull this. It looks like it's putting in a log. It's checking for data to not be existing, which is fine. Probably should have new team stats, data provider. It's just checking on stuff, and then it checks new team stats, which is essentially doing this thing, and then initial stats mapping. So let's go see what this does. We got to go to refresh data. I'm not sure where that one is. Get raw, get stats, fresh data. Oh, it really added a lot to refresh data. It looks like it's a bunch of logs again, though. All right, so we got log check. We're gonna check refreshing team stats data from collection. Find all team stats. Okay, so it's really just adding a bunch of logging and checks. See if we're actually, so it's not fixing anything yet, but I got to do all these logs so I can pin down where things are going bonkers on me. Oh, helper function to get document keys for debugging. What? Oh, some of these helper functions are helpful. Some of them are just clutter. I end up finding myself deleting them half the time. But all right, before I go any deeper on this nonsense, let's see if any of that pins down my problem. I expect that if, all right, so we have loading team statistics, loading players is statistics for each of us. I've drawn 1,400 players, errors, team stats is still null. So whatever we hit, none of the logs we actually got to happened. Because there should have been a state check right before this somewhere. So yeah, gotta keep going. Get global. Get global stats. Which is interesting because I got to huh. Was it this one? Knit global team stats manager. Put in some errors here. Get team stats return now. All right, well, we'll copy that. Drop it in there. Hopefully, you can get team stats. This is the one I would expect to see something too. Now we should see something happen before we get to a... Thinking they are not properly loaded. So this is probably a... Was init global team stats manager called? Blah, blah, blah. Loading source statistics found. Processing players. Team stats is nil. So we did get another error that happened a little sooner. But we still haven't found the actual problem. Get team stats manager for... I don't even know where this is supposed to be going. That's why I told it to put it in. Because it just says get team stats manager for skill calculation. It doesn't say what function that's supposed to be changing. It's changing the create system players. Really only that though. Adding a nil check and doing a quick test. So, oh my gosh, add this debug helper function to check the collection. Adding stuff in, it's kind of just, I find myself cleaning up a lot of code. I go through and have to clean out this stuff. Once I fix problems, I don't, some of this stuff is just like extraneous. You just have to stay on top of it, because if you don't, it'll get to be a clutter. Oh my gosh, is there more? Yeah, see what we got. May have to add that last one, but we'll see what this pulls. Cannot refer to unexported field DB. Wow. Okay. We got new errors. I'll put this in. I don't think this is going to have any effect on anything, though, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out why this is failing at the moment. Sometimes I don't know. Wait. Hold on a second. Are we still... Okay, I am. Okay, so I have a weird thing going on here, and I'm trying to see which one I'm using. Oh, I'm using NVIDIA Broadcast. Okay. I have both my mics attached, but one of them is muted, so I want to make sure that I'm not getting a double feed. What's the latest chroma? Well, I got not all my skills, but a lot of them working, and they're running, and I've got them validated. But now I'm trying to actually create players in the system, and that is proving to be a little bit of a stopper. Did not work. Try to do this with agent. I got to keep a sharp, close eye on him though. This whole service is new. I put all these files. I moved them all over here because I wanted to handle all of the player builds and skill building. Um, while because it's not going to be a constant, and I don't want it cluttering because the players service is going to do a lot more like in-game management of the players. There's a lot of things going on where you get to see skills and they change and edit, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on with those players in the players service. Player skills will be used, but they might just be updates, tweaks, fetches, and reads. Not as much stuff going to be happening constantly with the player skills, though. I still have to come up with the experience engine. It's not really just creating the experience engine. It's creating the experience um, numbers, trying to figure out how to get a good flow of that. It's gonna be a lot of play testing and help players and cards level up, both in skill, both in play skills and collection levels. Tomorrow, I will be going. Oh, wow, it's 11 o'clock. I should probably be hitting the hay. Tomorrow, I will be going. I will be heading out on a trip, and so I won't be. I won't be. I'm taking some things that might allow me to stream for a short period of time. Thing is, I'm only going to have my Surface, and I don't know what I can actually do with that, and when I can actually stream, because I'll be doing it from other people's homes. And how do you do that? How do you stream from other people's homes? Echo expected help output. See my Superman cup I got from the movie theater. It's actually a really cool cup. I have to say it's got the little Superman figure, which I could. It's actually not bad. It's it's rubber. It's a rubber cup. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's plastic, but it feels like rubber. I mean, it has that springiness. Like if I dropped it, it would just bounce. that's that's basically what it is. It's got like a rubber coating all over the outside of it, and this cape is actually a cape. It's actually got a cape attached to the cup. What that is. It's actually kind of a cool. This might be the coolest movie theater cup I've ever bought. It wasn't cheap though. And I'm sure being a movie theater cup, it's probably only worth half of what I paid for it. But or reasonable value is probably half of what I paid for it. I think I with the pop in it, I paid like 22 or 23 bucks for this thing. But as fancy as it is, I'd say it is probably worth 15, 16 bucks. But, being collectible, probably couldn't get it anywhere for that. But it is pretty slick. Whoa, what happened? Successfully loaded in config. .mfocal. Usage of create system players. Okay. Why didn't you just ask? I could have told you. It's like it's asking how this works. And I'm like, well, that's great. I know. I already knew that. Could have told you. So It thinks it knows what the problem is. They need to add the import for the comment package. Let me check the imports and add it. That's kind of interesting because it shouldn't need to do that because that's auto added. Go's pretty good about auto adding that stuff. I don't think this is going to build. Well, I guess there's no actual bugs, but maybe a little. Rebuild. We're going to do rebuild. I don't even have data yet. I don't know what this 2 greater than 1 bit is. Did it run? What did it do? It created a new terminal window? Not sure what it's trying to do here. Go run, create systems. It's using the rebuild. So I defined a rebuild parameter, and its purpose is to allow me to make tweaks to like the source stats and then pull them in again and have it import them, and then I can rebuild the players off of those new stats. It's if I change the stats or decide to change some particular functionality of it. I'm not going to be able to not work on this. I mean, I'm going to be doing a vacation, but I'm going to have to find time to sit and just fiddle with it. I'm too addicted. It's like I go more than a day or two and I'm like, okay, I gotta get back to it. That's what I did all day today. I mean, I didn't stream, but I was like trying to pack for this trip, and also I keep sitting down and working on this and trying to iron out the player skill service that everything worked. I got it all working and updated, and then I was like, okay, it's time to start testing the import players. I don't know what it's doing. It just keeps trying to run stuff. Go run, test run, go, team stats. It hasn't tried to make any changes to anything. What is the ampersand gonna do? Keeps trying to open new pages too. It's like it doesn't know what to do with the play, what it has. All right. I feel like it really is. It's just grasping at straws. I think we're running down the rabbit hole. All right, so I'm gonna go back up to my. I'm gonna go back to my player skills here, and I'm gonna just run it myself. I don't know what it's doing. Why is it trying to use being? Look. All right, so there. Rather than you stumble and fall all over yourself. Here, let me save you the effort. I ran the I ran the create system players for the error is returning. It's just like it couldn't figure out how to run it correctly. It kept wanting to add stuff and change stuff and do different things. Let's pause it. Yes, the store. The set up the post. See. So I don't know. What do you think about hiring practices now for developers? I mean, do you think? I mean, I've been saying that I think syntax checking skills in in other words, how well do you code your own code in whatever language? I don't think it's I don't think it's as important as it once was. I don't even think jobs should be putting that as the important thing. I think they should be putting forth a person's ability and understanding of code to be able to because I think asking someone to say, "Hey, write a method slash function slash blah 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 for whatever this." Look, I don't. You don't need to do that no more. AI can write functions and methods for you all day long. Now, can I figure out the algorithms and the code to actually make it do what I want it to do? Well, yeah, that's what I do. That's my thing. But that's the kind of thing they need to check for: your ability to solve problems and create code that functions is even if you're using a tool like AI to actually write the code. Are you able to clean it up? Are you able to? Now this should work because this is the right methods. Let's see what it does. The first time I've seen it actually call this correctly. Why are you not running it from? You did run it from the correct directory. Directory you did run it right. What are you talking about? Picking up. I didn't actually run anything. All right. Well, let me do it. Oh, no, I don't want to wait for him to figure it out. Here, let me run it again and again and again and again. It's like, I got it. Don't worry about it, dude. Let's just let me run it. Oh, look, it did actually get some results. Just blew up. And slow though. All right, Karama. I did. Thanks for stopping by, saying hi. But I'm falling asleep. I need to get to bed. I got to work some more tomorrow. I got to get up. I got to go work out. I got to go do my pickup of the food bank food from Amazon Go. Then I got to come home and load up my vehicle for my trip. And then I got to see if I can cram in an hour or two of work before we hit the road. So, and I got to finish packing up my computer and all this other stuff so that I'll have it with me and I can do more work when I'm on the road. Till